where we're headed. We all say, oh, I don't want this to be NFL light. It already is, dude. We're already heading there. All signs point to that. And unless some sort of, ruling comes down, that's where we're at. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master Football, back at it again. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be updated on all things EA college football, subscribe to this channel right now. I also do some pro football, college football, and Madden videos as well. Please subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. I really appreciate it. The like button too. Okay, both those things help me out immensely. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, so we are kind of going through, again, right now it's a little bit of a dead period in football, but things are coming up, okay? Training camp starts soon. That's going to be awesome. NFL is going to be starting up. We're going to get some of those things. There's also more than likely going to be some news on some conference realignment stuff that first week of August, whether or not the Pac-12 decides to go to market. They have an exclusive negotiation window right now with ESPN and Fox. Sounds like Fox is already out, and ESPN is kind of lowballing them right now because of the USC and UCLA defections from the Pac-12. But I want to talk about something that's more of a bigger picture item right now. I think we're headed towards a certain situation. I want to highlight a video I just had last week to kind of talk about how that's going to feed into this video we're going to talk about today. So again, here we go. This video last week, we are thinking about conference realignment all wrong. And again, I'm going to include this link in the description. Go check that video. It is, I'm telling you right now, I hate to toot my own horn, okay? That is fire content. But this content right here, in essence, I'll give you kind of the cliff notes here. In essence, I do believe that at the end of the day, the most watched teams are going to be in a conference and the least watched teams aren't. I do think that there's certain, mitigating factors like, academic prestige and things like that. I'll let you know the SEC doesn't really care about that. They're thankful for Vanderbilt, but going forward, I think that they're going to eventually get to the point, I'm talking 2050, 2060, 2070, where the most watched teams are on one network and the second most watched teams are on the second most network and the third and fourth and so on and so forth. It's going to form like that. I don't think they will eventually get to that top 50 or 60 team situation. I'm not going to wood for that because I'm pretty sure that, you're going to have over half the members of the NCAA want to do that. And I don't think the FBS group would do that. But again, you never know. I mean, I'm telling you right now, the limitations of what's going to happen in the future is your imagination, and that is it. I wanted to bring that up because, again, like I said, I think that the top 16 total, and I'm telling you right now, USC, UCLA, Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma are eventually going to form their own kind of thing in the future. That, again, that's going to be the presidents might want to throw that in the way, but I'll tell you what, the TV partners who are pulling all the strings right now, they want that. They want the most watched teams in one league playing each other consistently and to go on from there. That's what they want. But I think that is going to lead into something that a lot of people have been not so happy about or not so looking forward to, is the fact that it looks like more and more we are heading towards an NFL light, an NFL minor league system. And again, you see the fact that the NFL wants one right now because the NFL is pushing for, the USFL, or at least I think that the fact that you saw so many of these leagues that have been popping up recently is because all of them want to get kind of bought out by the NFL so that they can have their own kind of feeder into, their sport. But college football is the best one right now, even though the fact that it's not like official. But anyways, with that, I think that we're heading towards that more and more each day. I saw an article the other day that I want to talk about because I think it leads into this even more strongly than just the TV partners trying to consolidate all the most watched teams. So here we are on ESPN.com from Dan Murphy, Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford, Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren discuss improving benefits here. And again, I want to make sure that we highlight something about this because there's something in this article here that you're going to see is strongly a factor of pro sports. So Big Ten football players have had conversations with League Commissioner Kevin Warren this week about giving athletes a bigger voice in the future and improving a variety of benefits for players. Warren also spoke with the leader of nascent players associations about the possibility of having independent group represent the players in conversations with the league. Think about that. Nascent Players Association, represent the league, independent group. You kind of know where this is heading towards, but we'll get to that in a second here because that distinction, I'm telling you, it's a kind of a look by likes a rat It looks like a rat. It smells like a rat. It is a rat, but they're not calling it a rat. I'm telling you, they're trying to get towards a players' league or a players' association. Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford said the conversation with Warren have been positive, collaborative start to giving players a seat at the table in future decisions with the league. He said he and other players he has spoken with have no intention of creating a union or entering a contentious negotiation with the league at this point. Sure. Oh yeah, we totally believe you. And as a matter of fact here, you're going to get on later on in this article, it's leading up to the fact that I actually think that is going to be a point of contention that these players, the college players, can poke the NCAA towards, and the Big Ten and these conferences to extract more resources, is the fact that they say we're not going to form a union, but we could. We'll actually read about that more in a second here. So a spokesperson for the Big Ten had earlier confirmed that commissioners spoke with players and separately with Jason Stahl. This is an important name right here. The founder and executive director of College Football Players Association. Oh my gosh. So CFBPA, almost like the NFLPA. Clifford and Stahl met this summer and formed a plan to organize players in the Big Ten to ask league for improvements in medical care and a share of future revenue. And I'm telling you right now, a huge factor behind this is the fact that these players aren't stupid. These players, well, first of all, they're in college, but these players are like, yo, dude, you just added USC and UCLA. Their shortest road trip outside of each other is going to be 1,500 miles to Nebraska Lincoln. And we're supposed to just do this no matter what. We're just supposed to just suck it up and to go there. Meanwhile, you guys are signing for $1 billion per year deal with Fox or things like that. I think they're like, yo, dude, we kind of see, if we pull the strings on the situation a little bit, we're going to be able to extract a ton of money in this situation. I spoke to Warren earlier this week about a trio of initial topics the CFBPA wants to negotiate with the Big Ten. A representative on each campus who can advocate for players during medical situations or other disputes. The representative would be hired by CFBPA and serve on an on-site role similar to the players' representatives in professional sports unions. If it looks like a rat, it smells like a rat, it's a rat. Funds from the conference to purchase medical insurance policies for former players that would cover the treatment of injuries from their college football careers, and a to-be-determined percentage of media rights revenue for the players. That one right there, I am telling you, the players know they can see that $1 billion price tag. They want their cut. And I don't blame them. A representative from the Big Ten confirmed that Warren spoke to Stahl, but said to characterize their conversation as the beginning of any type of collective bargaining discussion is not accurate. The Big Ten Conference consistently communicates and collaborates with our student athletes. We are in the process of formalizing a student athlete advisory committee to seek input from our student athletes about the changing landscape of college athletics. We continue to work with our member institutions to ensure our student athletes have an outstanding and well-rounded experience while promoting and safeguarding the mission of higher education and prioritizing excellence and integrity in both academics and athletics. Continuing on here with Sean Clifford here, it says, Clifford first met Stahl, a former history professor at the University of Minnesota, in June. Stahl met with Penn State football team on campus 2 weeks ago. He said he hopes Penn State's players will serve as the first chapter of a nationwide association, although the bargaining efforts are for now focused on the Big Ten. Well, let's be honest. It's the fattest cat in the room. If you're going to try and extract resources, you would want to extract them from the Big Ten. I love my Mountain West. You probably don't want to go to Craig Thompson with demands right now because the league payout's like $4 million versus like the Big Ten's going to be like 100 pretty soon here. But it said Stahl said this is the big one here. I'm telling you right now, this is where everything stops. Check out this paragraph right here. This is their main point of contention, that they're going to be able to poke this wound in order to extract more resources from the Big Ten. Stahl said if the Big Ten does not make significant progress on doing more for players, he believes the organization's next step, not done, they said we're not doing this, we're totally kind of acting like a union, but we're not actually going to do this part. He believes the organization's next step is to register as a 501c5 labor organization and potentially begin the process of becoming a union. I'm telling you, that's where they're leaning towards. But we're not a union. No, we're not a union. But we might be unless you give us these things. That's exactly what's happening right here. Warren and the Big Ten are reportedly on the cusp of an unprecedented financial windfall thanks to the upcoming media rights deal that experts believe could be worth more than $1 billion for the conference per year. Those figures are likely to be helped by the recent announcement of USC, UCLA are joining the Big Ten by 2024, and that LA market is going to be joining the LA, the New York, the DC, the Chicago, the Cleveland. All of those markets are going to be included in that Big Ten deal. That was not an accident. So remember here, we have to look at a couple of these rules here. To register as a 501c5 labor organization, members would have to vote to form a union and have their requests confirmed by the National Labor Relations Board, a process that could take many months to complete. A previous attempt by Northwestern football players to unionize in 2014 was ultimately unsuccessful after the NLRB declined to make a rule on the case. The CFB would need to successfully argue that the Big Ten is a private business that serves as an employer of the players. And again, I am not going to pretend like I can break that down. I might later on, but that is a huge point of contention that you have to kind of get by. But until that, I'm telling you, in these situations, if it looks like a rat, smells like a rat, it's probably a rat. I'm telling you right now, I think that the Big Ten, they keep on negotiating with these organizations. They keep on getting, it goes from 100 million to 200 million to 300 million to 400 million to 500 to $1 billion. I'm telling you, these public institutions are acting more and more like private entities seeking for-profit situations. So they might be a private business. Again, how that breaks down, the whole amateurism debate between the NCAA and these universities, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you, those lines can get blurred. A good enough lawyer could potentially prove that in the future. The NLRB is evaluating a pair of complaints filed earlier this year that argue that the NCAA should be treated as an employer of college athletics. The NLRB General Counsel published a memo last year that challenged the NCAA's stance that athletes are not employees. The NCAA is also a defendant in a lawsuit attempting to argue that players could be viewed as employees of their school. So what is the CFBPA? And you can see here very, very much so. This is a players association. They're trying to be a union. Okay, they're trying to unionize right now. But you see this statement right here. They kind of break this down. Our values: we love the game of football. We want to improve the lives of college football players. Meaningful change must and can only be accomplished through the organized movement of current, former, and future college football players. The CFBPA should be the players' institution to push for the changes that they desire in a game of college football. You come down here and you see their vision. They've got a very, very clear timeline. So phase 1 is just about wrapping up and they're heading towards phase 2. So phase 1, any current, former, or future college football player who is playing at or who has played at any college football program in the United States who is eligible to join as a member. Nationally, we will attempt to grow our membership base as large as possible over the life of the organization. In phase 1, we will build the base to the point where we are unquestioned collective voice of college football players nationwide. So you see the fact they're trying to build their brand up. They're trying to build up membership. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is where they're going to try to establish some sort of baseline of things that they want. Again, right here, phase 2, with a strong leadership and membership base in place, we will begin extensively surveying our membership in order to create the first CFBPA platform to change. The CFBPA platform will, for the first time, let the world of college football know the collective demands of players on every issue in the game. We will then use the platform and the power of our membership base to demand seats at various decision-making tables in the sport. In one of those seats may or may not be at the billion-dollar Big Ten conference meetings. And then phase 3 here, July 2023 onward. So again, this runs into not this July, but next July and then onward. Phase 3, we intend to add key components to tangibly improve the lives of our membership. So in essence right here. So phase 1, we want to get some members. Phase 2, set our demands. Phase 3, we want to actually have our demands fall into fruition. That's what they're kind of looking for there. Key aspect I have myself that I always keep on asking is I was like, well, first of all, like college football, it's kind of transient. Players only play for a little bit of years. They're not necessarily, full-time. I just don't really understand how that would work, whether or not it's easy to rally a whole bunch of people together, especially like some people I don't even want to be associated with football. Other people say they do. What sorts of requirements would you have for membership? Do you know there's a similar sport league, the NFL, that has a certain rule in terms of required membership to be in their pension program. So in essence, once you hit the ability to have a pension, then you retire, you're able to receive that based on the fact that your body is going to be worn out from playing football. So what's the required amount of years? Like I said, college, you only play 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. There might be some grants or things like that, but generally it's about 4 to 5 years. What's the requirement for the NFL to get that pension? So right here from sportskita.com, how does the NFL pension work for retired players? So we come down here and we check this out. The current plan considers 55 to be the standard retirement age. Since the career of an NFL player can be very short and is extremely hard on the body, the pension is crucial for many players' futures. So you see how this kind of works. How do NFL players qualify for the pension? Once a player has been on an active roster for 3 years, that's it, 3 total, or on injured reserve, they become fully vested, which means they qualify for the full NFL pension. If you're interested in more specifics on the pension, you can find out here. So 55, you can apply for the pension after 3 years of playing. So you play for 3 years, year 4, game 1, you blow out your knee, you're done, you still get that pension. The more years you play, the more you're eligible for, things like that. But that is all that's required for the NFL pension. I can only imagine that the NCAA, which requires you to play, granted at a younger age, but and not as hard of hits obviously as the NFL, still plenty of hard hits, but you have to play for 3 to 4 years, and then you would probably get into that pension plan. So it's not unheard of, and it's not outside of asking for based on the short careers of college football players. Guys, this is where we're headed towards. It is what it is. Okay, now again, I think that this could be, the battle's probably going to come down to a court, because you see the fact they're already starting to be like, hey dude, do what we want, or we'll unionize. I'm telling you right now, that's where we're headed. We all say, oh, I don't want this to be NFL light. It already is, dude. We're already headed there. All signs point to that. And unless some sort of ruling comes down, that's where we're at. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am out.